is the appearance day of Jiva Goswami and also of Vamana day, a special day. Because you know, Rupa and Goswami, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they had one younger brother called Anupam who died untimely. So Anupam had a son, and his name was Jiva Goswami. And from a very early age, he witnessed the amazing transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Rupa and Sanatana to go to Vrindavan to excavate the holy places of pilgrimage and write books, you know, Jiva, he was feeling incredible, intense separation from Lord Chaitanya and also Rupa and Sanatana. He was always thinking, when will I go to Vrindavan and meet up with Rupa and Sanatana? And he had these little deities of Krishna and Balaram, and just feeling separation from Lord Chaitanya and Rupa and Sanatana, he would just cry and lament. People were very worried about him, actually. And then one day, Lord Chaitanya appeared to him in a transcendental dream. Actually, his little Krishna Balaram deity, the little Krishna, transformed himself into a form of Lord Chaitanya and appeared to him into a dream and entrusted him to Lord Nityananda, under the care of Lord Nityananda. And then Lord Nityananda, he went to, he went to Navadvip. Jiva went to Navadvip and he met Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda took him on a parikram around all the different holy places of Navadvip. And then after some time, Nityananda instructed Jiva that he should go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami in Vrindavan. And so he went there and he became like a menial servant of Rupa and Sanatana. And he was, actually Rupa became very, very endeared to Rupa and Sanatana. Actually Rupa Goswami, he carved and worshipped this beautiful little set of Radha Krishna deities called Radha Damodar, and he gifted them to Jiva. And Jiva used to worship those deities with so much love and devotion. And then later on, actually Jiva, he met this emperor, Ekbar. And he preached to him and inspired him to appreciate the significance of Vrindavan Dham. And he actually inspired him. This Emperor Ekbar, he built the beautiful Radha Damodar Temple, the Radha Govindaji Temple. He built many, organized the excavation and establishment of different holy places. So Jiva, he was living there in Vrindavan. He was also a very prolific writer. He said he wrote something like 400,000 beautiful Sanskrit verses. He wrote about 25 books. I mean, it is said that he expanded the teachings of Lord Chaitanya like no one else had ever done before. And he became the leader of all the Vaishnava devotees, the Gaudiya Vaishnava devotees. And he had many, many disciples and many followers. He was also the Shiksha Guru of many famous devotees like Narottam and Srinivas and Shyamananda. They were like considered his best students. And actually he organized them the first book distribution. You know, he got all the writings of the Goswamis and they put them in beautiful boxes and cased them. They put them on these bullock carts and they went out and they distributed those books. You know, he says, Jiva Goswami, he's very famous. You know, Srila Prabhupada, he also went to the Radha Damodar Temple and stayed there before he came to start the Hare Krishna movement. Because Srila Prabhupada knew that this Radha Damodar Temple established by Jiva Goswami, a very, very special place. It's where all the Goswamis used to meet and study and discuss Krishna Guitar and chant the holy name. So Srila Prabhupada, he stayed there and he was praying to Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami for their blessings and empowerment to write his books and to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya far and wide. And when Prabhupada received those blessings of Jiva and Rupa, he left Vrindavan, he went to Bombay, and he started making all arrangements to go to America to start the Hare Krishna movement. That's a very special day today, Funeral Day of Jiva Goswami. So also the Vamana Day, a very special day. Once upon a time, there was a personality named Bali Maharaj, and he was a grandson of Prahlad Maharaj actually, and he actually desired to conquer the kingdom of Lord Indra. Indra is the king of the heavenly planets. So he performed this very special ritualistic ceremony, and he pleased all the Brahmanas. And those Brahmanas endowed him with extraordinary strength and power. So then Bali, along with all these soldiers, they gathered outside Lindra's abode and attacked it from all directions. However, before this happened, the demigods were advised by Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the priest of the demigods, that what was going to happen. So they all scattered. They scattered without being observed by the demons. Thus, what happened? Bali Maharaj, he entered that kingdom of Indra, took over his throne, and from there he brought the whole three worlds under his control. So during this time, because the demigods were not visible in the heavenly kingdom, their mother, Aditi, she was feeling very sad. She was feeling great separation from her sons, and she was aggrieved. So she approached her husband, Kashyapa Muni, for a solution. She was feeling so much separation from all the demigods and her sons, and she wanted them to return and reoccupy their position in the heavenly kingdom. So she informed the husbands, that the demons, they've taken away our opulence, they've taken away our beauty, our fame, they've even taken away our residence. What can be done? Kashyapa Muni informed her that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the spiritual master of the universe, can subdue these powerful enemies. And he informed her that she should perform the best of all ritualistic ceremonies, the Sarva Yajna, sometimes called the Payavrata, in order to receive the Lord's favour. So she took this to heart. She started performing these very rigorous, very difficult austerities. For 10 days she performed intense worship of the Lord, performed many austerities, sacrifices with so much love and so much devotion. Then one day, what happened is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his Narayan four-armed form, appeared before her, dressed in the yellow garments. And when she saw the Lord, she was just overwhelmed by transcendental bliss. Tears were just flowing from her eyes. Her body was trembling. She bowed down. She offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. Then the Lord informed her that he understood what was going on. He understood her situation. And soon he would retrieve the abode of the demigods. And he was going to do this. And due to being pleased with her, because she performed this special vrata, that he was going to take birth as her son. And it happened. Soon after, the Lord entered her womb, and then later he manifested himself before her in his beautiful four-armed Vishnu form, with 4 hands, holding the club and the lotus flower and the disc and the conch shell, dressed in the yellow garments. He had the beautiful lotus petal eyes, decorated with beautiful ornaments, and the Kasturba jewel round his neck. So at this auspicious time of his appearance, it is said there was happiness in all directions. all living beings on earth, the upper planetary systems were just filled with joy due to the auspicious appearance of the Lord. You know, the denizens of heaven were showering their flowers. Actually, they showered so many flowers that the whole house of Aditi became covered with flowers. And they were saying beautiful prayers, songs glorifying and praising the Lord. So Aditi and Kashyapa Muni, they were struck with wonder, you know, just seeing the beautiful form of the Lord there, who's appeared as their son. He very mystically appeared. And, you know, they were so happy. And then, of course, in the presence of his mother and father, the Lord Vishnu just assumed the form of this little dwarf Brahmana, Brahmachari Brahmana dwarf, right before their eyes. And then soon all the demigods appeared with offerings of gifts, special gifts. Because he was a brahmachari brahmana, they offered him such gifts as they gave him. I mean, traditional brahmacharis, they lived very simply. You know, they just wore deer skins, they kept unmatted hair, they just lived in the forest. They had a little begging bowl, they used to go around begging some alms for their guru. So he was given these gifts, a deer skin, he was given an umbrella, a Brahma danda rod, undergarments, you know, the copans, a water pot, a Brahmana thread, kusha grass to sit and meditate, Rudraksha beads, they used to wear these Rudraksha beads, a brahmachari begging bowl. They also gave him some gold coins. So after being welcomed and blessed by everyone, Lord Vamana, the best of all brahmanas, as it is said, he exhibited this incredible Brahman effulgence which just captivated the entire assembly of devotees who had gathered and demigods who had gathered to witness his appearance. Then one day, Lord Vamana, he heard that Bali Maharaj was performing an Ashvamedha sacrifice. So he decided, I will go there and bless Bali Maharaj. So when Vamana arrived at the sacrificial arena, because of his incredible bright effulgence, you know, everyone began to ask one another, who is this personality? Is he the sun god or the fire god who's personally come to witness the sacrifice? So that while the priests were talking about this and they argued, Lord Vamana, holding his hand, in his hand a rod and his umbrella and his water pot full of water, he entered the arena of the yajna, appearing as this Brahmana boy, this little dwarf Brahmana boy, wearing a belt of straw, sacred thread, upper garment of deerskin, matted locks of hair. And he just came into the arena of the yajna and he just stood there, exhibiting this brilliant effulgence, which just is said that his effulgence just surpassed the beauty of the entire assembly of stately brahmanas. And they all stood up. All the gurus and brahmanas, they all stood up with their disciples to welcome Vamana and offer humble obeisances. And Bali Maharaj, who had conquered the whole three worlds, he was also very jubilant, very happy at seeing this most beautifully effulgent personality, Lord Vamana. Thus he offered Vamana a seat of honour with great satisfaction. And then Bali Maharaj, he washed, it's a Vedic tradition, when a special personality comes, you wash their feet. So Bali, he washed Lord Vamana's lotus feet and he placed that water on his head. And then he inquired from Vamana, Lord Vamana, how can we serve you? Now that you've come here and blessed our dynasty and our yajna with your presence, how can we serve you? It appears you've come here to ask for something. Therefore, whatever you want, you can take from me. I've conquered the three worlds. I have so much opulence, so much power. Whatever you want, you can take from me. Cows, gold, a beautiful furnished house, palatable food and drink, a prosperous village. You could take a daughter of a Brahmana for your wife. Horses, elephants, chariots, whatever you desire, you can take from me. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vamana, heard this, he was very satisfied. He began to praise Bali Maharaj for being the worthy son of a great and famous devotee, Prahlad Maharaj. Then Vamana, he addressed the king. He said, Your Majesty, who has come from such a noble family, who are able to give charity so munificently, I only ask for 3 paces of land for the measurement of my 3 steps. I do not want anything else from you. I don't want anything that is not unnecessary. Bali Maharaj, when he heard that, he was feeling a little bit distressed. He said to Vamana, I'm able to give you an entire planet if you want. Because I am the proprietor of the 3 divisions of the universe. You've come here to take something, but you're only asking for 3 steps of land? Alas, because you're only a small boy, therefore your intelligence is insufficient. You're not very expert in regards to your real self-interest. And then Vamana replied to him, it's a famous verse actually, that, Oh my dear king, even the entirety of whatever they may be within the 3 worlds to satisfy one's senses cannot satisfy a person whose senses are uncontrolled. If I were not satisfied with 3 steps of land, surely I would not be satisfied with the whole planet. So when Lord Vamana had thus spoken, Lord Bali Maharaj smiled and told him, all right, take whatever you like, take your 3 steps of land. That's all you want? 3 steps of land? And just take that. So when Bali Maharaj's guru, Sukracharya, when he heard this whole conversation going on, he came forward and he instructed his disciple Bali. He told him that Vamana, he's not just a Brahmana, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has appeared to fulfill the interests of the demigods. He will take away everything. He'll take away your land, your wealth, your power, your fame, and he'll deliver it to the enemy, Indra. Then, how should you live? Of course, Sukracharya was worried about how should he live. Once his disciples lost everything, But Bali, when he heard this from his guru, he just remained silent for some time. And then he spoke. He said, I am the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. How can I withdraw my promise because of greed for money? How can I behave like an ordinary cheater especially towards a Brahmana. You know, although Bali Maharaj, he was born into a family of demons, actually he'd been blessed by his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj, who planted the seed of devotional service in his heart. Therefore, even though Bali was playing the part as leader of the demons, he was actually a pure devotee of the Lord. So Bali Maharaj, he told his guru, Sukracharya, I do not fear poverty. I do not fear an ocean of distress or falling from my position. I do not even fear death itself, as much as I fear cheating a Brahmana. Therefore, under all circumstances, I must give this little brahmachari whatever charity he wants from me. So Sukracharya, his guru, became very angry. Actually, he was inspired by the Lord within his heart. And he cursed his disciple, Bali, for disobedience, that he would soon be bereft of all opulence. Then suddenly what happened is that little small dwarf incarnation of the Lord, Lord Vamana, he started increasing in size. He became bigger and he became so huge, this huge form, until everything in the universe was within his body, including the earth, all the planetary systems, everything in the three worlds was within his body. And he did this because he wanted to show Bali Maharaj that everything in the universe is already in his body. And also, everything in the universe actually even belongs to him, anyhow. Thus, with his one step, his first step, he's going to take 3 steps. With his first step, he uncovered the entire surface of the earth. Then, with his second step, he stepped out this huge form of Vamana, and he covered all the heavenly planets. So he'd taken everything within this universe. And there wasn't even a spot where he could put his third step. But it's very interesting because when he took that second step, what happened? His toenail on his big toe pierced through the currents of the universe into the spiritual world. And from that hole in the covering, the water of the Ganges began flowing into the material universe. This Lord's special mercy. And that Ganges doesn't just flow here in India, but it flows through the whole different universe, just to deliver and purify all the souls living within this universe. So all the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma and all the learned sages, they came and worshipped and offered prayers to Lord Vamana. And suddenly he assumed his normal form, a little dwarf Brahmana. However, what happened is when the followers of Bali Maharaj, when they saw that their master had lost everything, all his wealth, power, fame, they became very, very angry. And actually what happened is they took up their weapons, all the demons, all the followers of Bali Maharaj, they took up their weapons and they pushed forward to kill Vamana. They wanted to kill him. So when the Vishnu Dutas, the associates of Lord Vishnu, saw all the demons pushing forward to kill Vamana, what did they do? First they smiled. They smiled, and they took up their weapons. Then they began slaughtering all the demonic soldiers, just smashing them, driving Bali and his followers down to the lower regions of the universe. So after some time, Bali, he came forward and he forbade his soldiers to continue fighting. And he explained to them that nobody can supersede the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That he alone has the power to bring happiness and distress to all living entities. And soon after, Garuda, on the Lord's order, arrested Bali with the ropes of Varuna and tied him up. You know, this was much to the dismay of all Bali's subjects. He tied him up like a prisoner. Then Vamana, he said to Bali, "O king of the demons, you promised me 3 steps of land. I've taken 2 steps. Where am I supposed to put my 3rd step?" And Bali said, "O my Lord, I cannot allow my promise to be false. Please therefore place your 3rd step of your lotus foot on my head." Thus Bali Maharaj, he surrendered his life to the Lord. Therefore, actually Bali Maharaj is considered to be the topmost example of this aspect of devotional service, of surrendering everything to the Lord. And at this time, the Lord bestowed upon Bali Maharaj the greatest benediction. He placed his lotus feet on Bali's head. Thus Bali attained the supreme perfection of life, got completely purified. And suddenly, what happened is the most dear devotee of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali's grandfather, appeared there. And when Prahlad Maharaj saw Vamana, the Supreme Lord, he became overwhelmed, and tears were flowing from his eyes. Then he thanked Lord Vamana for mercifully blessing his grandson Bali. Then Brahma soon arrived, and he begged the Lord, please release Bali. He's actually a devotee of the Lord. He's not. Then Lord Vamana, he addressed the assembly there of the demigods. He said, "My dear Lord Brahma, because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. Thus he has no respect for anyone. He even defies my authority. To such a person, I showed a special favour by first taking away all his material possessions. Then Vamana started glorifying Bali Maharaj. He said, Bali has become the most famous amongst the demons and non-believers, for in spite of being bereft of all material opulence, he remained fixed in devotional service. Although bereft of all riches, fallen, defeated, arrested, rebuked, deserted by his relatives and friends, cursed by his guru, he remained fixed in his vows. He did not give up his truthfulness. And because of this great tolerance, I have given him a special benediction. I have given him a place, a special place, not attainable even by the demigods, that he will become the king of the heavenly planets during the period of Manu, and until he reaches this position in the near future as the king of heaven, he shall live on a special planet which I have created just for him, a planet called Srila. Actually, it's a spiritual planet designed and made by Vishvakarma according to my order. You know, the Lord organized with Vishvakarma, who was the architect of the demigods, to create this beautiful planet just for Bali. So Bali, he accepted the supreme truth, that ultimately Krishna is the proprietor of everything and everyone. Thus he's completely surrendered everything to the Lord. Now, Bali Maharaj, he risked losing everything. But deep down, he had faith that the Supreme Lord is all good, that he is our ultimate friend, that the Supreme Lord is our ultimate well-wisher. Because of his association with Prahlad Maharaj, you know, his heart had become purified, and therefore he had that faith. You know, Prahlad he said 1/11 of the one lava matra, 1/11 of the second association with a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj is enough to change your whole life. Just by that association with Prahlad Maharaj, within his heart, deep down he had faith in the Lord, that the Lord is all good, that even though he risked losing everything, he had faith that it'd all work out. And therefore the Lord rewarded him by giving this special planet. And believe it or not, on this special planet of Srila, the Lord himself appeared in a form of Lord Vishnu and took the position of Bali's doorman. You know, in these spiritual planets, they have these protectors, the protectors of the planet. And so the Lord went there and became like the doorman, just to protect his planet. You know, in these, you read about these spiritual planets, they have like doorways, and not anyone can enter into these planets. There's so many different doors and gates. They're protected. So this is how the Lord reciprocated with Bali Maharaj. He surrendered everything to the Supreme Lord. You know, the Lord showing us how he becomes conquered by the love of his pure devotees, how he becomes subservient by the love and devotion and surrender of his devotees. And Lord Vamana is also teaching us that one may increase his ambition for material enjoyment and sense gratification, and even if he achieves all his desires for gratification of his senses, because all these material sense gratification is just on the material platform, one can never actually achieve real satisfaction or contentment. Therefore, he's teaching us that one should therefore give up all these dreams and desires and simply become a pure devotee and find real happiness and satisfaction on the spiritual platform by engaging the senses in the loving devotional service of the Lord. So although Bali Maharaj lost everything materially, he accepted the Lord's punishment as the greatest mercy. This is how a sincere devotee always appreciates and understands that the so-called punishment that comes to us, the difficulties that come, the obstacles that come in our life, are actually the Lord's favour, just to correct us, to bring us to the right path, to take us places in our spiritual life where we never would have gone without these difficulties and troubles and obstacles. Opportunities to really take shelter of the Lord and His devotees, take shelter of the holy name, take shelter of the process of Krishna consciousness. You know, generally when the difficulties come in a person's life, and, you know, people do take shelter, but generally people don't take shelter of the Lord. You know, they take shelter of their own mind, or their own intelligence, so they take shelter of intoxication, or just gross sense gratification, or they take shelter of the fallible soldiers of people that can't really help them. The devotee, whenever difficulties come, whenever obstacles come, whenever, you know, tests, you could say they're like tests come, the devotee actually welcomes these and understands that these are actually the Lord's mercy, you know, just to purify us, just to help us to become stronger in our spiritual life. Opportunities to just go deeper and take shelter of the Lord, because ultimately there's no other shelter in this material world. Jai Shri Vamana ki Jai, Appearance Day of Lord Vamana ki Jai, Shri Appearance Day of Lord Jiva Goswami. Do you have any questions I'd like to ask? Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.